Her hand is trembling, reaching through a sea of legs and robes. For 12 years, she's been untouchable. Leviticus 15 labeled her unclean, cutting her off from everything. Every doctor took her money and left her worse. She spent her last coin on one more who cannot help. But she hears a commotion outside her door. It's the teacher, the one they call Jesus. He's surrounded, pressed on all sides by the desperate. Her thought is a frantic, silent prayer. If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed. That's not protocol. That's a forbidden gamble. Unclean people do not touch rabbis in public. But her faith is not a quiet wish. It's an action. Her fingers brush the fringe of his robe. Power instantly surges through her body. After 12 years, the bleeding just stops. She tries to melt back into the crowd, anonymous. But Jesus stops. The entire procession halts. "Who touched me?" he asks, feeling power leave him. She's terrified. This public exposure is her worst fear. She falls at his feet, confessing everything. He does not scold her for breaking the rules. He calls her daughter. That one word publicly restores her dignity. "Your faith has healed you," he says. "Go in peace." Her story is a cold open with no name, but it proves a stunning truth. Faith that acts, even from the shadows, commands heaven's full attention. The sound is not a river, but water being poured for a bath. A young Israelite girl works silently in a Syrian general's house. She was taken from her home, a prisoner of war. Now she serves Naaman's wife, the commander of the enemy army. And this general, this powerful man, has a secret. He's a leper. This girl has every reason to stay silent, to hate him. But she looks at her mistress one day and speaks. Her words are simple, and they change everything. "If only my master would see the prophet in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." That's it. One sentence of faith from the lowest person in the house. It starts a chain reaction she could never imagine. Her words reach the king of Syria. He sends Naaman with a fortune in gold and silver. They go to the king of Israel, who tears his robes in panic. This looks like an act of war, a trick, but the prophet Elisha hears about it. He sends a message, "Have him come to me." Naaman arrives with his horses and chariots, expecting a spectacle. Elisha does not even come out. He just sends another message, "Go wash in the Jordan 7 times." Naaman is furious. He feels disrespected. Aren't our rivers better than this muddy creek? But his servants convince him. If the prophet asked something hard, you do it. Why not this simple thing? So the proud general strips off his armor. He walks down into the dirty water. He dips once. Nothing. Twice. 3 times. On the 7th dip, he comes up clean. His flesh is restored, like a young boy's. The miracle happened in the river, but it started with a captive girl's courageous whisper. Your situation might feel small, powerless, but your faithful word, right where you are, can be the first domino. You might never see the miracle it starts, but trust this. God uses the whispers of the unseen to topple the strongholds of the proud. A stranger's hands are seized by Roman soldiers. They shove him toward a fallen, bloody beam. This is Simon, just a visitor from Cyrene. He's forced into the story's worst possible moment. The noise is deafening, shouts, weeping, marching boots. Jesus stumbles, the weight of the cross too much. A soldier points at Simon. "You, carry it." This is not a choice. It's a terrifying command. For Simon, this is a catastrophe. Touching a criminal's cross means ritual defilement. It brands him publicly with this condemned man. His plans for the day are utterly hijacked. He carries the weight meant for someone else. Step by painful step up the skull-shaped hill. He walks beside the man named Jesus. What did he hear in those final moments? The story does not tell us his feelings. But Mark gives us one crucial, later detail. The father of Alexander and Rufus. By the time Mark writes, everyone knows them. His sons are famous in the early Roman Church. This involuntary, terrible act changed everything. God used a brutal interruption for eternal purpose. The burden he never wanted became his legacy. Your worst detour might be your divine assignment. God can meet you in forced, inconvenient service. He redeems the burdens you never asked to carry. The sound is not a river, but mud brick crumbling from a ceiling. For friends hit a literal wall of people. Their paralyzed friend on a mat could not get through, so they made a new door. They carried his dead weight up an outside staircase. Then they started digging through the roof. This was not a quiet prayer meeting. It was a demolition project of stubborn faith. Dust filled the packed room below. Jesus looked up from his teaching. Ropes lowered their friend right into the center. Mark's gospel pins the miracle on them. When Jesus saw their faith, the faith of the community for the one who could not, they acted for their friend when he could not act. Jesus' first words weren't about legs. "Son, your sins are forgiven." The religious leaders were furious. Which is easier to say? "Get up, take your mat, and walk." And the man did. The crowd was stunned by the physical healing. But the first miracle was spiritual. His friends carried the faith he could not muster. They carried his physical weight, too. This is our call. Be a faith carrier. When someone is paralyzed by doubt or pain, devise a plan. Carry the weight. Bring them to Jesus when they cannot get there. Your stubborn faith can tear through any ceiling. We do not hear grand speeches from these unsung heroes. Their power was not in eloquence. It was in action, often in just one faithful moment. Hebrews 11 is called the Faith Hall of Fame, and it defines faith as confidence and assurance. But read the whole chapter. Every single story shows faith demonstrated. It's always a verb. The servant girl did not preach a sermon. She pointed. Simon of Cyrene did not volunteer. He shouldered a burden. Those 4 friends did not make a speech. They tore through a roof. Their silence teaches us everything. Your story of faith might not be in a famous book. It's written in the moment you reach out. It's written when you speak up, or when you shoulder a burden for someone. It's written when you carry a friend. Your powerful story is not about volume. It's being written right now, in the quiet, obedient, often unseen acts of trust you choose today.